I have this natural urge every time I say the words all content. I tighten up every muscle in my body to be hit with something. It's just so.
No more babies, please.
Back.
And after a while, I don't know if someone got upset about the
big ass woman late.
They dropped the big. They dropped the word big. It's just ass a woman. Yeah. Does anyone think it's dumb that we still have the president pardon the turkey every year?
Me. You're like, I don't have any underwear, hon. What's going on here? Oh, well. It's like the song Jailbreak, except tonight there's gonna be a golf game somewhere at the jail. Trevor William Church the First. When he vetoes, he would just be like, meow. Veto.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock'n'Roll Podcast.
We are. Wow, episode 11 already.
It's flying by.
Flying by. Yeah.
I think they actually have interviews recorded in season 3 at this point. I won't give away any secrets.
Season 3 is going to be really something, folks. We've got some crazy ideas. The thing is, Stace used to be able to reserve me from my crazy ideas, and I'm slowly winning out. So season 3 is going to be.
I did stop him from
wackadoodle.
peeing on records he didn't like. I didn't think that was a good idea. Like in front of you guys. I was like, no.
If nobody comments, I'm going to pee on this Pink Floyd record. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Yeah, I think there was some alcohol involved that day. Yeah.
Finally, you're getting rid of the last Christmas presents that are hanging out at the house.
Yeah.
It's always that thing after Christmas where my mom seems to give me her presents for my kids that I've already seen, and then it's my job to farm them out.
It's so anticlimactic giving someone a Christmas present in February. It's just like, remember that holiday that everybody's forgotten? Here. Oh, great. It's a magazine subscription. Thanks. It's like, just all the joy is gone. The longer you wait.
Well,
we have a nice weight rack that I have to put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a good gift. I thought it was a wine rack. And I didn't think we were going to be able to use it. So.
It was so funny. He was like, "Oh, it's a wine rack." And I came down. I'm like, "Babe, that's a weight rack."
But you did get a very interesting wine-related present, which was what?
Wine-related present.
Wine-related present. Wine garb.
Oh, God.
Her mother got her. Was a sweatshirt and sweatpants that have little
kind of silky pajamas.
Little glasses of wine all over them. It's like
the whole trim of the pants is glasses of red wine going down the outside of the leg. I haven't worn them.
And the
yet.
shirt says, "I am Stacy and I am an alcoholic." I can't imagine a place you would wear that.
Firehouse, maybe.
Ugh, don't even say it. I haven't gotten over it yet. We were talking a couple weeks ago about weird laws, and it just kind of occurred to me that every state in the United States has some degree of weirdness.
Definitely.
whether it's mascot, state sports laws, whatever. I mean, like for example, if you're a resident of Raritan County, New Jersey, you are not legally allowed to swear.
Ever?
That's in the law. And if you're unlucky enough to live in Bernard's Township, it's technically illegal to frown.
Wow.
So like I said, they just have to be giddy, our entire city, each and every one of us.
Yeah. If I was doing any kind of work, I can't ever fix something or repair something
without frowning,
yelling fuck and
See, we wouldn't
frowning.
be allowed. And we all know that everyone who lives in New Jersey is a saint. There's no swearing.
Okay.
So the whole thing is kind of ludicrous. Moving on, the Louisiana State Penitentiary has a public golf course on its grounds.
That's a great idea.
And believe it or not, there's a few administrative items that you have to take on before you're allowed on the grounds of the prison. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably gonna pat you down. Although a golf club could technically
I think they do a full background search on you, actually. Yeah.
What could go wrong there?
What could go wrong there? Let's go play golf. I know. Let's go to the jail. It's like the song Jailbreak, except tonight there's gonna be a golf game somewhere at the jail.
There's actually a golf course right here in Timonium that was built over the old dump, and I just can't ever get past it was the dump.
That is one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
So it was like a landfill is under it? Okay.
Yep.
So you're golfing and you could say, well, underneath me is toxic waste. Yeah.
Oh.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Again, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Why is my golf ball glowing?
why don't you take a couple?
All right. So the state sport of Washington is pickleball. I'm not even sure what pickleball is.
I looked it up and it was so boring that I don't even remember what it was.
Does it involve pickles?
No, it doesn't involve pickles.
Balls?
No, it was just some kind
It's
of
just
weird.
called pickleball because it involves neither?
Exactly.
Okay.
I couldn't find it. Pickleball sounds interesting, but when I was reading it, I was like dozing off. It's not interesting at all.
Or in Maryland, our state sport is jousting, which I think we might have actually touched on before, because someone immediately came back and said, no, it's lacrosse. Technically, that's our Maryland state team sport is lacrosse. It's still jousting.
Yeah, I brought this up one time with a bunch of guys, and they like freaking went crazy and just wanted to shove me out of the room. They're like, "No way, it's jousting!" And I'm like, "Look it up, bitches. Look
Get on your horse.
It's lacrosse." I'm like, "It is jousting. We are lame."
Get on your horse. Knock me off, bitches.
I love the next one.
All right. So this story comes to us from Alaska in 1997. Citizens of, I guess it's Talkeetna, Alaska, actually elected a cat as mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So he was dubbed Stubbs because he had a short tail. Perhaps he had a tail accident, like our poor little bear got it cut off in the door. But he actually held the position of mayor until his death in July 2017. So he was mayor a good 10 years.
He's almost like a Supreme Court justice more than a mayor.
But I think, it's amazing. We almost had a vice president out of Alaska. It's a little scary. What do you think it was like when they called in to discuss mayor problems? Do you think the cat's napping?
Yeah.
The cat's been into the nip. It's not a good day.
And when he vetoes, he would just be like, meow. Veto. This is considered a soul food in Arkansas. Chocolate gravy. It's made from fat, flour, cocoa powder, and sugar.
Did you know that snowballs are technically a Maryland thing? Like not shaved ice, not Italian ice.
Actual snowballs.
Snowballs. And if you aren't from around here, our snowballs kind of look like snow, a little densely packed, and you put syrup over them. But the thing that makes it a Baltimore thing, the flavors egg custard and skylight both originated here. I love skylight too. And I like a little bit of marshmallow on the top. Some people who are gluttons also ask for marshmallow in the middle, but that's too much.
I didn't know it was a Maryland thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's very
Marshmallow.
interesting.
Go to another state
Put it
and
up there with-
put marshmallow on your snowball.
It's up there with steamed crabs and duck pins. Yep. So there are like 5 different states that have a state bird that is the cardinal, which is grossly unoriginal in my opinion.
Baseball team too, Cardinal.
And then there's Minnesota, where the state bird is the common loon. I mean, they really went for it. What does that say about their residents? In Delaware, chickens outnumber people 260 to 1.
I believe that. Living on the Eastern Shore, they have a lot of farmers for Purdue down there. They're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere.
Well, it takes a tough man to have 260 good chickens. Apparently.
I don't know though. I've actually looked into the eyes of a chicken. There's nothing going on in there. And we have animals. There's stuff going on in their eyes. They have emotion. Usually the cats have disdain of some sort. You can see a dog is expressive. There is nothing going on in a chicken's eyes. It's just.
So there's a lake in Massachusetts, and I'll put the title here because I can't say it. Chattamaga. It goes on for days, right? Anyway, it's like 19 syllables. Look at that. That's how long that name is. That's the technical name of the lake in Massachusetts. And the funny part,
Indian term?
I guess. The funny part is that they renamed it Webster Lake. Where did they get? That's nothing like it. It's not like they chopped part of the word off.
I don't even see a W in the original one.
No.
Well, that's like there's again on the Eastern Shore near Ocean City, they had what they called Bigassawoman Bay. it was an Indian term.
Oh, I didn't understand what you meant by that. Bigassawoman Bay.
That's what it said on the map and the signs. And after a while, I don't know if someone got upset about the
Big ass woman lake.
They dropped the big. They dropped the word
woman?
big. It's just ass a woman.
Well, how do you offend people on the Eastern Shore? Yeah.
I don't know.
Sort of along the same lines. Every September, people in Marlington, West Virginia, they have a special cook-off roadkill.
And
serious business.
That's horrible. And again, going back to the Eastern Shore, I seem to be living there a lot today. I lived there in my early 20s. We went into a diner and I asked, this was in Salisbury, which is kind of a more populated area.
That's one of the bigger cities, yeah.
And I asked what the special was, and the woman said muskrat. I was like, no, really? No, that was the special. Blech. Anything with the word rat in it, not eating. Nope.
Muskrat. Wow. Nope. Interesting. I'm not surprised by this at all. Indiana, every year, a team of 300 elves write personal replies to over 200,000 letters that are sent to Santa from around the world, all of which end up in the small Indiana town post office of Santa Claus.
Well, I guess that way it can be actually stamped Santa Claus.
Yeah. I did not know that.
God.
In Arizona, it is illegal for donkeys to sleep in bathtubs.
There's got to be a story behind that one.
Who came up with this shit? I mean, you know.
Florida state prohibits unmarried women from parachuting on Sundays.
I'm glad we're taking care of the non-married. Yeah. And it has to be on Sundays.
I guess if you're
got to draw the line somewhere.
If you're married, you're good.
If you're married, then pull the ripcord. Yeah. If any person, I love this one. If any person has a puppet show, wire dancing, or tumbling act in the state of Indiana and receives money for it, they are fined $3 under the Act to Prevent Certain Immoral Practices.
What is it, a Punch and Judy show where it's puppet violence?
What specific three random things? Tumbling act, wire dancing, and puppet show. We confiscated the socks. Now Specs are in custody.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I got to tell you, this is one of mine. We used to have a plant in Tallahassee, Florida, which is the state capital of Florida, right? And this guy, it's a perfectly normal guy, last kind of guy you would think to be weird, but listen to this. He takes me to the seafood restaurant, right? He says, "Oh, you're going to love this. We're having barbecue backs." I'm like, "What the hell's that?" "I'll just have flounder. Thank you. And a beer." And he gets his barbecue backs, and they're the spines of fish. And they dip them in barbecue sauce and suck it out. It's so disgusting.
That just seems like an excuse to eat barbecue sauce.
They had a wide selection of sauces. But I mean, why don't you just suck it out of a feather duster or something? I mean, ugh, so nasty.
Dip crackers, something tasty.
Oh, this one surprised me.
And given our recent luggage debacle, I guess there's also people who never claim their bags. I can't understand why this would happen until like a month later. You
just leave the airport. I'm going. You're like, I don't have any underwear, hon. What's going on here? Oh well.
But there apparently is a lot more common than you would think that people never claim their bags. So they have the Unclaimed Baggage Center in Scottsboro, Alabama. It's the nation's only retailer of lost luggage.
For now, I bet you this is going to catch on.
Unclaimed items from all domestic airlines and other travel and transportation companies end up there, where more than 7,000 items are processed each day.
Each day?
You know, some of the wildest finds this company has made include a NASA space shuttle camera. Now, you don't think somebody got in trouble for this? Where's the camera?
A live rattlesnake.
Yes.
How do you not miss that?
It's like, babe, did you get the snake?
Where's Mr. Whispers? Where's Mr. Whispers? I feel so lonely. Usually we feed him around now. That's crazy.
They also found a zebra skin.
You know what? That could be like a show on Lifetime. I could see that. Or AMC or something, you know, like kind of like where they the storage units.
Oh yeah.
What's the storage
where
unit?
They sell
this would be way more interesting than that. Let's
What's
see
in this suitcase?
Let's see what's in the suitcase.
Gotta just auction off the suitcases, and you don't get to look in it until you pay.
Right, exactly.
You get to feel it. You get to jiggle it. That's it.
All right. So in Montana,
Could be a rattlesnake.
in Montana, it is technically still illegal for unmarried women to fish alone.
What is this weirdness with unmarried women
women
not being allowed to
Unmarried
do
women are considered pariahs in some of these places.
I think because an unmarried woman is considered unsupervised
Yeah, I guess so.
in many cultures.
Despite his Australian heritage,
Mm-hmm.
Mel Gibson was actually born in Peekskill, New York.
Mm.
Hey, I like a drink as much as the next man.
I did
Unless the
not
next
know that.
man is... All right. There's a bar in Atlanta called Sister Louise's Church of the Living Room and Ping Pong Emporium. That's a long sentence.
Wow. Anything that ends in emporium, I'm interested.
It features like remnants of a failed art gallery, and karaoke is performed by people in choir robes.
Wow. Somebody was on an acid trip.
Yeah. That sounds even wilder than a firehouse.
Yeah. Does anyone think it's dumb that we still have the president pardon the turkey every year?
Me.
Is there ever going to be a year where the president's like, you know what? We're hungry. No.
It's like once a year, the president has to try to be funny. And it's just not. It's about as funny as what the Easter egg roll.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Well, you can't hide eggs.
Why
On
not?
It's a lawn. There's no place to hide
They could
it.
put-
It's
that
a
would-
well-manicured lawn. It's not even weeds.
Rolling
on it.
is so lame. I mean, they could have tried a lot harder.
It's like croquet with Easter eggs. I don't know.
It's so dumb. In Britt, Iowa, they have the Hobo Days contest every August. Hobos is hobos like a slur now? If you call
Probably. I
you
don't.
call someone a hobo,
You're supposed to call them.
homeless,
Challenge.
home challenge or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, hobos come to town and set up a hobo jungle. They set up. They sell arts and crafts, hobo arts and crafts. They name a king and queen of the hobos. I wonder if there's bets on who's going to win. Who's going to be the king and queen?
They do have like some weird underground
I wonder if that's on Match King. Who's going to be the? I want to bet the odds of who's going to win the hobo king and queen of Britt, Iowa.
Like get two homeless people to like fight,
Yeah.
and they give them money, and then if people bet on them and they make money on the bets, it's of course highly illegal.
I was going to say that the pit bulls are illegal, but for people it's fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No,
Yes, sir.
it's illegal, but people still do it.
Well, why don't you close it out?
All right. So going back to our hometown, Baltimore, our most famous brew, which is not our best brew, but it's
Uh-oh.
National Bohemian Beer, otherwise known as Natty Bo. It's not brewed in Maryland anymore. However, 90% of its sales still go to Baltimore City.
My daughter, who was in her early 20s, was coming to visit, and she likes that piss. So I went to the local liquor store to buy it, and they made fun of me. As soon as I said, "Do you have any?" They were like, "But you got a college kid visiting?" And I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Sorry." And they sold it to me. But I said, "It's not for me. It's one of those things that you say, oh, I'm not drinking this shit."
Our future interview this week is with Kris Gustafson of the long-running San Francisco metal band Trauma. Now, this band is best known for way back in the day being Cliff Burton's original band prior to Metallica.
Which is what you see behind us. That's Cliff and Trauma. It's
know,
on YouTube.
A few people talk about how great Trauma is after Burton left, and my wonderful husband the other day was pointing out to me that it's great that they're both back with new albums and that we think Trauma is better. Come
Yep.
at us in the comments.
Yeah, we think that the new Trauma is actually better than the new Metallica stuff. So
So-
how weird is that? The first album on Shrapnel, Scratch and Scream, it was one of the most intense rock albums of that year, 86. And Donnie's vocals are so amazing, and the guitars are always shredding, and Chris's drums just thunder along. And then there was no activity for ages. And then the band reconvened in 2013. They were going to do a reissue of the first album, and they ended up getting back together. And it resulted in a really fine record. It was 2015's Rapture and Wrath. Donnie's vocals were still incredible. the master of high drama. He can whoop, he can cry, he can wail. He brings the drama. Anyway, we'll discuss the past and present of trauma with Kris, including talking about their latest record, Awakening, as well as Chris's strange hatred for spandex pants.
Yeah.
So why don't we play a song? Why don't you introduce it?
This is from the 1986 debut album, Scratch and Scream. This is In the End.
I love that song. It's like, it starts to kind of feel like a ballad, and then as soon as you settle in, okay, this is a ballad, then it gets all rocky again, and Donnie's like up and down. It's great. Yeah.
Their newer stuff with the new vocalist, Brian Allen, it's definitely got an almost
Speed metal
feel, yeah, for sure. But it's the guitars are just soaring. It's really good.
Great record, yeah. All right, let's talk about Patreon and Instagram. You can find us on Instagram/Snaggletooth Rock'nRoll. Come say hi on our Facebook page. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our antics. The Patreon page is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast. It's loaded with bonus content that you can't find anywhere else. For example, this week I am putting in a feature, 10 real Spinal Tap moments from bands like Scorpions, Uriah Heep, Lita Ford. These are hilarious stories, and they actually happened, and you can only find out about them on our Patreon page.
And I'm going to be sharing with you my best workout hacks. Is going to be my contribution. Again, this exclusive content, including my recipe for rock and roll hash browns
Satanic
on the ride to hell,
yeah.
Are only available to our subscribers. So for a low donation,
$6.66 a month. Come on, people.
You can join our.
You can't even get a good sandwich for that. Come on.
You can say you're a Snaggletooth minion, and we're going to have exclusive merch, which we already have beer cozies and coffee mugs and t-shirts coming soon.
We actually are starting to have t-shirts. We're like a week or two away. So
made by yours truly.
We're going to have t-shirts for every season's artwork, and season 3's artwork is going to blow you away. So anyway, yeah, subscribe to us, give us a like, give us a comment. You know you love us. So, all right, I was thinking again, every once in a while, you bump into an old person and they give you a name that you're like, wow, that's from the Truman era. And you can tell by people's first names kind of what decade they were born. So here's a few names that you just really don't hear anymore, unless the person is like your great-grandmother or whatever. Frida.
How about like Blanche?
That's a good one. How about Maud? You guys.
Clyde. Not a lot of. This is my baby, Clyde. No.
You don't hear that, I have a table for Clyde and Myrtle Johnson. Yeah, that's Myrtle's a good one. Yeah.
How about Erlene?
It's like who's the chick from Ozark? Marlene or Darlene?
Yeah, anything lean.
Darlene, yeah. How about Rona?
Yeah,
that sounds like someone who should have been on One Day at a Time. Yeah.
How about Gertrude?
Ooh.
Gertie.
How about Floyd? As in Floyd the Barber, which is a Nirvana song written about Andy Griffith. And then we'll close it out with Ethel. You don't get a lot of young. Come meet baby Ethel. You don't see that.
It's weird, but Lucy still could be, but no Ethel. No more Ethels.
Just, all right. So here are the trendy names. You can tell this person is a millennial or a post-millennial.
Yep.
Destiny. Carson with a K.
And the S-Y-N.
Mm-hmm.
Actually know someone who spells their name like this.
You got a couple.
Noah is very trendy.
The Old Testament is very trendy.
Noah and Ian. There's a lot of Ians. Gavin.
Trevor William Church the First. Trevor. Yeah.
Caden.
Caleb. I get a call at work and it's like, this is I think we talked about this. The new way of aggressively selling me is, hey, Mark, this is Caleb with XYZ Transportation. How's it going? And I'm like, do I know you?
my
And they
God.
just want to go, well, as we discussed last week, whoa. We didn't discuss anything last week. Don't act like I know you. I don't know you. Caleb, goodbye. So I don't know what 18-year-old Caleb is being told, but that's not a very good way of selling people. No.
People will call up all the time and ask for the doctor I work for. Like he's not seeing patients.
Yeah.
And there's like, oh, well, we talked about something or we met up or they did not.
Yeah.
Every time I say something to him, he's like, no.
Yeah, I get emails that say RE per our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the subject. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are. All right. So let's close it out with Brianna and Daria. So there we go. Those are the hot trendy names. And I just want to say, Mark is still on the list on the Social Security's popular names website. I'm number 111, but I'm on there. So might not be the most popular, but I'm still in the game, baby. So I didn't find Stacey. I'm sorry. EY or Y I couldn't find. So, okay. So it's time to move into our Ask Jens segment. Got a good one this week. We talk about what does he like to put on his food.
We also just got some great Firebomb swag, which we'll
be wearing on the show.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jens. It did show up. And
awesome.
A very nice swaggy bag as well.
So,
that I can keep my Bob Ross paint supplies in.
And if you want one too, you can buy from our website. They have Firebombs. And just click on that link. I love their logo. Their vinyl's so cool looking too. I still want that beer. Ugh!
There are links in the show notes. So click the link below and you can get some cool Firebomb swag.
As well as hear some cool Firebombs music, which is even cooler.
So here it is. Ask Jens. What is your favorite condiment?
Condiment?
Ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce,
It's
hot
something that
sauce.
you put on everything.
Yeah, well, it must be. I think it's ketchup.
Ketchup, really? Okay.
Yeah, I have ketchup on everything. Well, not the oatmeal, maybe.
Not that.
Yeah, maybe not that.
Maybe not. That.
No.
Yeah.
But
My sister's first husband was like that, man. He would come to Thanksgiving and put like ketchup on the turkey, and I was like, "Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I used to be hooked on Chick-fil-A honey mustard sauce. I used to go steal, like I'd ask for like 5 packs, and I'd pour.
Yeah.
The reason they hide packs now at Chick-fil-A is because of me.
Yeah.
I would order one order of chicken fingers, and I'd want like 27 sauces to get.
All right. Damn.
Yeah, whenever we get pit beef, we got to get the horseradish, that kind of clears your sinuses out for 4 days.
Yeah, that's.
Oh.
Yeah. But you're not a big radish fan. Or
No, he isn't.
yeah. You had some
Horseradish
episode.
I like. Radish I don't. No.
Yeah. I saw you had some episode about radishes. Yeah. So that was quite funny actually.
Well, because we got extra food from the place we order from, and we thought it was going to be like good stuff, and it did with
Radishes and cottage cheese.
Yeah.
They could have kept the radish.
I was trying to incorporate the radishes in. I didn't think it through one year. I have a big vegetable garden out back, and I thought, oh, I'll grow radishes. But they all came in at once. And I'm like, what am I going to do with 42 radishes?
Yeah, well.
Radish is a useless vegetable.
I was like putting them in people's cars. Like, here, have some radishes.
Yeah. Well, the taste of radishes are very, it's, I don't know, it doesn't taste so much.
Yeah.
It's
nothing or just slightly bitter. I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
Once you get past the carving it like a rose, there's really not much you can do. I love that he remembered the radish thing. That was so great. It actually is quite funny what you said about the radishes. And I'm just like, wow, this man is our soulmate he is our soulmate from Sweden. He is really. Ladies and gentlemen, Jens Cameron, you can't beat it. So, all right, time to play a little bit more music. Why don't you introduce the next one?
This song is from 2015's excellent comeback
Kick-ass
album,
record.
Rapture and Wrath.
Yeah.
This is Pain.
Check out Donnie's vocals. The man was a machine. If you didn't think that kicked ass, then I don't even know why you're watching this show. That is an incredible record. Incredible record, great band. It actually came out self-released a year prior. And as soon as they put it out on their own, this German label jumped on it and redid the artwork and kind of jazzed it up for him. And that's what Rapture and Wrath is. But you got to hear this stuff, people. I hear it. We got a really good collectorbation this week. I promised that I'm going to kind of get back to basics with you guys instead of being all over the place with like the Joneses and whatever else. So
no more babies, please.
Back. The Baby's Broken Heart is a good fucking record. Sorry. Come at me in the comments. Yes. All right. So this week we're going to feature a little old band from England called Black Sabbath. We're going to start with the first Black Sabbath album. Isn't she lovely?
Oh, so gothy.
Yes. It's hard for me to even describe how important this record has been in my life. I mean, it's been the background for like endless school projects and home repairs and road trips and parties and flipped and repeated and whatever else. It sort of flows in this continuous fashion, but you can take the individual tracks out and they stand up, like the that bass wah and NIB, or Ozzy's blues harp in The Wizard. The songs sound great on their own too. The title track, Black Sabbath, which was also recently redone by
Rotting Christ. If you haven't heard it yet, recently
it's
did.
Great.
It's a new release, an amazing cover of Black Sabbath.
Vader
Amazing.
does a good cover of it too on their live album, their second live album.
I loved when you were listening to it. They're like, what are they gonna do with the fast part? And then you're like, there it is.
I just go into another zone when that song speeds up. But this is the album where like it's a lot more extended jamming. The songs kind of like are linked together in like suites. But to me, I mean, I love the first three to death, but this is the big one of the big three to me. The self-titled, maybe the greatest heavy rock album of all time. If you said this was, I wouldn't argue it. So let's play a song. Go ahead.
Let's play a song off this iconic album called The Wizard.
Okay, collectorbation continues. 1970 Paranoid. What can you say? Black Sabbath Paranoid. 2 5-star albums in the same year. There's something about the production on this record from Roger Bain. Ward's drum sound, particularly with his starts and stops and War Pigs. I've never heard another song like War Pigs. The crispness and the punch that would dominate any other recording, but somehow Iommi's riffing completes it. And particularly the wails and the bends. Ozzy's vocals are like kind of float over the craziness like a tapestry. Lyrically, he adds this weird like B-movie shock vibe to the whole affair. There's a witchiness to the album. There's a despondency of post-Vietnam to it. It's just images of hedonistic drug use, black magic, sexual deviation, gory corpses. This is what comes to mind when this record spins for me. Some would say that this music is depressing. To me, this is music that got me through most of my life. I mean, Paranoid is legendary for a reason. So let's play a song. This is Hand of Doom. Okay. The third of the big three, Masters of Reality, 1971. Around the time of this album, I noticed that Roger Bain likes bongos. There's bongos in the mix on all the early records. And Volume 4 does not have bongos. So just so you know, there's a little bit of change of percussion, Anyway, I can't imagine that Four Longhair's ever been able to create so much unholy sounding music so consistently for so long. The early Sabs records are like a golden goose. You can just cut them up 100 different ways and examine all the little pieces, but there's just nothing mystical to be found. The riffs on this album are just monolithic. The crescendos are just irresistible. The acoustic pieces are like a kind of a dreadful warning of what's going to happen. And the way Oz just floats the vocals over Iommi's thunder, it's like a religious experience. It really is. I mean, this is the be all end all of heavy metal before it was even considered to be a serious genre, and I'm going to say that very little has changed with regards to the early Black Sabbath albums. I mean, they're the greatest heavy metal records of all time, and despite thousands of imitators, that have come and gone since their release, there's very little disagreement. So, why don't you introduce the final Collector Bastion song?
Our final song is Into the Void.
Just one quick thing. So, I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but we sold our soul for rock and roll. This is kind of like that. Remember we talked about the best of Judas Priest? This is kind of the lame-o. It's a double album, but it's supposed to be like the greatest hits. It's got, for those that were too cheap to go out and buy Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, or too cheap to go out and get, Sabotage or whatever, you get a couple of songs from each album. A record like this, I liked it when I was a boy, and this record has, I mean, you can smell the beer. My God, yes. But I'll tell you what, two or three songs from these records, the first 6 Black Sabbath, it's not enough, So nowadays, this would just be like a gateway drug for me. I would have to have the full records. But this was when I was young and I didn't have a lot of money. Just went to a lot of beer parties. So anyway, I guess we move on now. What should we do now?
Why don't we introduce our feature interview of the week?
Okay, let's do that. So here is our interview with Kris from Trauma. And there's a major drum geek out. So here it is. Yeah, we've been big Trauma fans. I've been a big Trauma fan all the way back to Scratch and Scream. So
wow.
You guys in the show. Yeah, I love that record. Yeah. So we'll get into all that.
And wow, Awakenings. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, good. I'm glad you guys like it.
We really do.
Cool.
So let's get the obvious stuff off first. Can you give us a good Cliff Burton story?
Yeah, something that was he left the band to join Metallica right when I got in it.
Oh, okay. All right. So there wasn't much overlap then.
The only thing I could say about Cliff is he used to come to our gigs when when the scene was going on in the 80s in San Francisco. He would occasionally show up to our shows, man, and just hang out with the band, and kind of give us reports how Metallica's going and stuff like that. He was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just figured we had to state the obvious, So
yeah.
Now,
good.
When Scratch and Scream came out, you guys were on Mike Varney's Shrapnel label, right?
Right.
Did you ever meet Mike?
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, what was that like? I mean, you were one of the first real. Yeah.
I still talk to him now.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's great. I mean, yeah. Well, you were one of the first real, I thought, great band records that he put out. A lot of the others were just kind of solo guys, shredding.
Right.
But that record was great, and Donnie's vocals and your drums, wow. I mean, really something. Very intense.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. It seems like so. I mean, obviously, that was a long time ago.
How'd you get hooked up with Mike, though? I mean, how'd you get hooked up with him?
The band was playing a lot of gigs, in the Bay Area in the 80s. And he just started showing up to some of our gigs and, expressed interest in the band and, came to a couple of rehearsals and then offered us a deal.
That's great.
I remember we actually signed a contract for the Scratch and Scream record on the wall of the Stone.
Wow.
That's cool.
I mean, none of us even read it. We're so excited. We just signed it. Big mistake.
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I always tease about that, the way we click through stuff, like when you have to accept to download an app. It could be you're giving them your firstborn. Nobody reads that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Like, okay, I mean, we were in our early 20s, so we didn't know, but later on we knew.
You come to learn, right?
Yeah.
Well, when you kind of got back together in 2015 and went in to record Rapture and Wraith, was the focus different then, or what kind of goals did you have in mind as far as reformation and kind of coming back to life there?
Well, basically what happened was Mike Varney wanted to do a re-release on the Scratch and Scream album, in 2013, and he said it might be a good idea to put a band together to in case there's any opportunities to go play live. So it started with trying out the old lineup, but it just wasn't happening. Other people had different obligations and whatnot. So we ended up becoming just like a 4-piece. Me and Donnie didn't really want to do it as a 4-piece, but at the time we really couldn't find anybody else. So I think the Rapture and Wrath record was basically a starting point just to kind of test the waters to see if there would even be any type of interest for the band, because it was gone for so long, you know. And in my opinion, it was kind of more of a hard rock kind of / maybe a little metal of an album. I knew it needed to be a lot heavier, you know, but we had to start somewhere.
Right.
Well, this was yours. Do you want to do that one?
Okay.
All right. So Donnie's vocals are incredible on As the World Dies. And the songs, like you said, had like a whiff of like Maiden, but a little rougher, more down tune, like, you know, Dickinson's Accident of Birth record.
Right.
You know, it had to be so hard when you guys lost him in 2020, because he just seems such an integral part of everything.
And the momentum had to be building, and his vocals were so great. I mean, you know.
It was a huge blow. I mean, we had just done a gig in January at the House of Blues. We opened up for Metal Allegiance, and that was like that was like the last gig he was going to do, you know.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I knew him. I met Donnie in like 1981, so we went back a really long time. So it was like losing a brother.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was a really good friend of mine. You know,
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, we almost just pulled the plug on the whole thing. You know, I mean, I was not convinced we were going to be really able to find anybody that would like be a good fit. You know.
Yeah, he was very distinctive. Yeah, he really was.
Yeah, he had you know, I mean, he had one thing with Donnie. I'll never forget this. We played somewhere from some benefit or something, and he actually sang a Led Zeppelin's song. I can't remember the name of what the freaking song, Immigrant Song.
Immigrant Song, okay. Yeah.
And I mean, he just like, my God, you would think it was like Robert Plant back in the 70s, you know.
It's really something. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how did you find Brian and get him into the works? Because he's also an amazing vocalist.
Yeah, the new album's great, man.
Well, we were like literally when Donnie got sick, I was at the studio getting ready to set my drums up to start laying down the drum tracks. And this whole thing with Donnie happened. And, you know, unfortunately, like the next day he passed away.
Oh,
and
wow.
We just were like, you know, devastated and just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we basically just hung it up for a few months. And then at the time, our producer, Juan Ortega, knew of Brian from Vicious Rumors. And he goes, yeah, I might have a guy that might be a good fit. So we just started the process with him, and it just, thank God it worked.
Yeah,
he's really good as well. I mean, the vocals he lays down on Awakening, I mean, but the themes are a little darker on this album. Is that because of the pandemic or everything you guys were going through with Donnie?
Yeah, it had a lot to do with the pandemic. You know, we were, you know, everybody in the world was kind of like feeling like locked up to a certain degree.
Horrible.
You know, and it was that plus him passing away. That's kind of that's why it sounds the way it does.
You know, in the live shows, are you going to do a mix of like the newer stuff and like going back to Scratch and Scream, or what kind of a mix are you going to have for the set list? You know,
for the upcoming tour, I think we're going to probably primarily go with the newer material,
newer stuff
off the new album. You know, Brian's really comfortable singing, obviously, all the new stuff. He's pretty good at singing a lot of the old stuff as well. But I think at this point, we're probably just going to stick with the new stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about a couple tracks because I mean, I'm just totally addicted. But the Falling Down I love the way you guys have those like back and forth and fall away melodies and then these charging riffs and along with the different vocal layers. And there's almost a Nevermore vibe to the song.
It
So
reminds me of Moral Dane a little bit.
how did this one come together for you?
Well, that was a song that was written by Steve Rebello, one of the guitar players in the band. And, you know, he just came up with some really cool ideas, you know, and we just kept working it until it came out as it is now. You know, it's hard to really say, you know, but it just came out. I mean, all these songs just came out from just how we were feeling at that time.
Yeah, I love when it goes into the kind of the slower arpeggiated bits, and then it charges forward, and then it goes back a little more introspective. That's great. The push and pull, very good, very good.
Oh, cool! Thank you.
Really cool.
Glad you
I
like
really love the video too for Walk Away. It looked like it was fun to make. You were drumming like crazy, and then it's all the stuff blowing up, and you know, and then there's an acoustic guitar. Who decided to put that in? That was wild.
Well, that was a video that was done by Mike Sloat. He's a guy that lives in the Bay Area. He's done a lot of videos for like Testament and Machine Head and a bunch of different people like that. And that was done at the it was done in Petaluma, big old like theater. You know, we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, you can tell it comes through.
Yeah,
it really does.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, I love Death of an Angel, but is someone a serial killer buff? It's totally Ted Bundy inspired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was another idea of Steve's.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I guess at night he watches these serial killer shows and he just came up with this crazy idea, you know, and we're just kind of like, really, man, you want to do a song about a serial killer?
Right. Even with
like,
the lack of
why-
apology intro. Yeah.
I guess why not? Right.
Where did you get that? What soundbite did you use with him talking? Was that from a documentary? I've watched so many on him.
You know, that was something Mike Sloat, the guy that produced the video, he found that somewhere. I'm not really sure.
Gotcha.
You even had a yellow VW in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
he did a lot. I guess when you make videos, there's a lot of stock footage you can like look at and buy, you know, use. So I think that's probably what he did.
Right.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I'm addicted to that show on the ID Network, which is like evil lives here, and it's you know, it's so great because I remember the one time they always kind of come with this, you know, regular person and they're putting the mic on him and she's like, you might know me, but you're gonna know my brother was John Wayne Gacy. I'm like, no one talk to me right now.
Yeah that guy was a freak.
Yeah
I mean, they all are, you know.
And the people
he was pretty bad.
It always seems like the people that they victimize, it's like, I was curious when he was gone for 3 days and came back in a shirt soaked in blood, but I didn't question it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
really? You know.
Yeah, it's like what's up with that?
What would it take for you to question it? You know, so
yeah.
Yeah, but Bundy always fascinated me. He could just outsmart anybody, charm the pants off anybody.
Yeah, it seemed that
way. Yeah. That's how those guys were. I mean, another guy is that guy, the Iceman. You know, you heard of him?
Yes.
Yeah, he was another one that was pretty bad.
Oh yeah. These guys with their double lives, yeah.
We watched a lot of that yourself. So I was like, it was so neat to kind of have a song to go along with it. And it's kind of neat because the music is kind of so powerful and melodic, but yet the lyrics are so dark. It was really neat to put that together.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Really cool.
Yeah, definitely. So I have to ask, Death Machine is just a pop and such a powerful song. Was that chosen deliberately to be like the last song on the album, kind of like to finish it out like Raining Blood or like Damaged All Incorporated?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. It's got that kind of vibe to it. You know, I'm not exactly too sure how it ended up as the last track, but I think the placement of it was pretty good. You know,
it's good.
I think it's just like, you know, why not throw some little 3-minute like fast crazy song at the end, you know?
Yeah.
Who came up for the wild cover art? I love, of course, the blue and the black and blue, but the girl with the goat head and the awakenings, I love it.
Yeah, that's a guy. His name's Johannes. He lives back east, and he's done a lot of album art for a lot of different bands over the years. He used to work like for Atlantic, I think, in Columbia. And one of his partners in the very early days was H.R. Giger.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I was pretty floored when I saw what the concept of the whole thing when he came up with it, you know. So we're going to have merch that's going to have all that artwork. Yeah.
That's really cool. I've noticed that in the type of music that we enjoy or that you play, drummers are very busy. Are you in a lot of other projects, or is it just Trauma, or are you getting pulled in a lot of different directions for other things?
You know, yes and no. My primary focus is Trauma. I do some side things every now and then, but I'm kind of busy with my business too at the moment. So I haven't really had time to, you know, go and do other things at the moment, but, you know, maybe down the road.
What do you do outside of Trauma? What's your business?
I have a vacation rental business.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet that does keep you busy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up here in South Lake Tahoe, and right now I'm dealing with a lot of snow. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
You're a busy man. Yeah.
You know, and in this day and age too, you know, it's like you don't get, you know, I've been doing this a really long time, man, and it's not like you go to your mailbox and pick up a royalty check very often, you know. And most musicians that I do know that are even like, you know, guys in pretty popular bands, you'd be surprised what they do on the side.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
You know.
Yeah, it's rough. I know. The idea of being able to live as a professional musician, it's incredibly difficult. It really is.
Oh man, it's, you know, when you got like, you know, I came from the days of like, you know, getting signed to record labels, and you'd have to go to the record store and buy a vinyl album or a CD or a freaking cassette tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, like for instance, we put this Awakening album out. I swear to God, the release day that it came out, within hours, there must have been about a dozen download sites where you get it for free.
Yeah.
You know, so realistically, you can make money off selling the vinyl albums, but a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's rough. It's rough. You know.
No, I know it is. We hear that from everybody. Everybody says that. They say that you have to come up with an angle. It has to be merch. You have to become like T-shirt salesman or something with the show or whatever, that the music itself. And I think it's terrible because the music has so much value to us.
Yeah.
People just don't, you know, streaming has just killed it, you know.
Well, what people don't realize is like for us, like even when we did this, you know, this album, you know, we did it like during a really lousy time of what was going on. And plus we had our lead singer that died, you know, and it wasn't easy to record this record. You know, I mean, we put a lot of work into it, and it's just like you know, it's heartbreaking when you see like a dozen. There could be freaking, you know, I don't even know now. There could be even more download sites that just decide, oh, we'll just do it for free.
Yeah,
you know.
God.
So.
Yeah.
It's just
I know
it's crappy.
It's rough, you know.
Yeah, we've seen bands with some pretty interesting merch. There was one with a shower curtain. There was one with a lotion. Hot sauce seems to be a prevalent.
Yeah.
Having your own beer, you know.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways around it. Yeah.
Well, you got to try to make money somehow.
Exactly. You got to put your logo on unusual things. Yeah.
See a Trauma beer angle. That'd be pretty good.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah. You never know. You know, maybe one day.
The shower curtain is my favorite so far.
I like that. That's funny.
Should we do our game?
Yeah, why don't we do our game?
All right. We play a little game. It's random questions. I have questions in front of me numbered from 1 to 100. I want you to pick 5 numbers and we'll ask you those questions.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, how about let's start let's do one in 99, and then let's do like 25, 45, and 65.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. What outfit have you worn in the past you would not wear today?
Oh God. Right off the top, spandex pants. Never again. Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Too hot?
Huh?
Are they too hot?
No, I'd rather be dead than wear a pair
Or
of
just don't
those
want to be
again.
seen in them. Yeah.
Never again.
I used to have these black leather pants that I got in Mexico, and when I would wear them, they would stain my legs black. So
Oh,
like
geez.
for 3 or 4 days, my legs would be black. So I couldn't wear shorts, and people would say, "Why are you wearing jeans in 90-degree weather?" And I'd be like, "Shut up, shut up."
I don't mind wearing leather pants, but the spandex with the freaking the cheetah print.
Oh yeah.
Or they're
You know who
bright
you blame for
pink.
that? I always blame Pete Way of UFO for that. He was the one that came up with the and the target and the stripes. Remember that? Like every time I see that, I'm like, that's the Pete Way fashion right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
trust me. I mean, I lived in LA in the very early 80s.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you walked into a club
Yeah.
from behind, you couldn't tell between
The girls
chicks
from the
and
guys. Exactly right.
until they turn around, and even sometimes when they turn around, they look
Even
like
then you couldn't
chicks.
tell. Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is there facial hair, makeup? I don't know.
Yeah. Nobody had.
Guys didn't really have facial hair
Yeah.
back then. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All
Yeah.
right. Number 99. What advice would you give to your teenage self?
Go to college.
Do you
Yeah.
think you would have taken your advice?
No. No, the reason being for me, my dad was a big band drummer.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. He worked for like Woody Herman and guys like Dizzy Gillespie and people like
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah.
So I used to go to his gigs with him when I was like 6, so it's just, he passed on the curse,
Yeah. What did you think of that movie? What was it? What's it called?
Whiplash.
Whiplash. What do you think of that? Was that
Yeah, there's
Was it
good and bad
exaggerated?
with that. Put it this way, there's not a music teacher on planet Earth that would act like that, for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I
You-
kind of thought
you-
it was like Full Metal Jacket, but with drumming, sort of. Like
You would never have any students. Nobody would put up with that in this day and age. You know what I'm saying?
and for jazz, the type of music that doesn't pay. Like no one makes any money in jazz, right? I mean, in
Not
rock and
now.
roll, at least you make something, right?
Right. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
whole premise of the movie is flawed. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 25. If you were a breakfast cereal, which one would you be and why?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
A breakfast cereal. Oh my God. I'd have to say like Wheaties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like they're good for you. They, energy. I play the drums.
Yeah.
I got to try to have some sort of energy when I play gigs.
Yeah, that's a
that's
good one. Yeah. Yeah. We do.
I think that would work.
I'm really short. I'm only about 5'2". So whenever I stood next to anybody who was tall, my dad would always say, "It looks like she eats Wheaties and you don't." I'd be like, "Shut up." That was always his tagline.
Well, that's funny.
All right. Number 45. What is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal. Huh. Probably a dog. Yeah, I'd say a
Very
dog.
faithful.
I've had dogs all my life. Right now I've got 2 Malamutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
You could be gone for 10 minutes and you come in and they're like, "Where were you? I
oh,
didn't think
totally.
you'd ever come home."
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they eat like how much dog food do they eat a day? They're big.
I give them 2 cups each a day. Twice a day.
Yeah.
They don't eat that much, but they could go through the dog food pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're big dogs.
We have a Yorkie who is food obsessed. He will go through the trash can if something smells.
Oh, trust me, these guys will too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Among other things.
Yeah.
They'll get into whatever.
Yeah, we used to have big dogs, and I would put the food like up on these tall shelves, and that was the only way that we could preserve like what we were eating.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Someone sent me a video of a Great Dane that could reach the top of the refrigerator, and I thought that's the end of that's it right there. I have nowhere else to go after that, you know.
Oh yeah, that's like one of the Malamutes I have. He's always getting everything off the countertops. You know, over the holidays he ate like 2 dozen cookies.
Oh,
you know,
God.
Wow.
Yeah, cubes of butter. You know, it's like I have to remind my wife. Honey, don't leave anything on the counter.
Right, nothing. Yeah,
he needs to learn, and it's like he's not going to learn.
No.
He's going to learn. He can get some free food.
I would go to other people's houses and I would start putting their plates up, and they would be like, "What are you doing? We don't have any animals." I'm like, "Sorry, it's force of habit."
That's funny.
All right, number 65. If you could learn a skill you do not currently possess, what would it be?
Skill. Oh, I don't know. If I could learn a skill that I don't possess at this present moment in time, I'd like to be a really good piano player.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you play other instruments beside the drums?
No, but I do have a really good keyboard that, it's funny because, the kids in this day and age, they do all this sampling, and putting like loops and all this crap together, and put tracks out, which to me, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. So they buy these keyboards that make sounds, and whatnot. And I kind of got into it for a little bit, but I really wanted to learn the instrument. That's why I bought it, So to answer your question, that's what I would like to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your tour starts in March with Queensryche and Marty Feldman. So how did that come together? Who pulled that group? It's a good mix.
It is really good. Yeah.
Well, the singer Brian Allen, he was in a band called Dark Sky Choir some years ago, and I guess he became friends with Todd, the lead singer of Queensryche, and they actually opened up for Queensryche over in Europe.
Oh wow!
So when we got Brian Allen in the band, Trauma, I guess they continued to talk. And then they found out, oh, Brian was in the band and da. So basically Todd got a CD of ours, and I guess the whole band listened to it and voted, and everybody wanted us to be on it. So that's kind of how that came about.
Oh, that's really neat. Well, we see you're coming to Baltimore, so we'll have to check you out when you come to town, because that's really
good.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to meet you guys.
I have one for you. So, my favorite drum intro is "Stay Clean" from Motorhead when he does that little flourish in the beginning. That it's so great. What are your favorite drum intros?
Man, there's so many of them.
I used to say that song's got a "Stay Clean" intro. Like whenever it would have like a really cool like pirouette or something in the beginning. Just, what are some of the ones that would come off the top of your head?
Freaking Hot for Teacher, Van Halen. But when I first heard that drum intro, I go, Jesus Christ, what'd they do? They must have recorded it like a dragster.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was actually Alex that did that, and I was like, Jesus, because I saw him live, of course, and that was a good one. Montrose Rock Candy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But going back to Alex, I mean, I love that song, but my God, like Dirty Movies and Mean Street, The Swing. Oh, we could probably geek out about Alex Van Halen for like half an hour. I mean,
oh yeah, man. I mean,
I freaking love Alex Van Halen. Eddie totally like eclipsed him, but why? I mean,
yeah. No, that dude had this like groove. And he knew like what he wanted his drums to sound like, because they sound pretty much the same on every album. It's like the overriding ride cymbal.
Oh yeah.
No,
The king of the ride cymbal. Yeah.
Yeah, he uses like a, he uses like a, or he used like a 24-inch Peisty ride cymbal, but it was always really up in the mix, but like that album, oh God, what was it, man? Carnal Knowledge.
Oh yeah. With Sammy Hagar, yeah.
I mean, Andy Johns produced that thing, and it sounds like freaking, it's huge,
Yes, it's hard to believe. Those were back then. That was when you would, they would make a hard rock record, and it would sell 500,000 copies.
Yeah,
1.5 million copies. I mean,
oh,
nothing sells like that anymore.
The good old days.
Yeah, exactly. We sound like old men. We do.
But another really killer intro too is Painkiller.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Priest. Yeah.
But there's so, like I said, there's so many.
There are so many.
I'd like to, maybe on the next new Trauma album, I'd like to maybe try to, put myself to the test to try to come up with something that would be cool.
How were you okay with when Pert went through his sample stage, like Show of Hands and Hold Your Fire? Did you stay with him for that, or were you like, fuck this,
I think they were just exploring,
I mean, I knew he was like up here, but I had a really hard time getting into it,
Yeah.
I wanted to hear By Tour and the Snow Dog,
Yeah, I think they were just trying to like experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you do that, you end up losing people sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I really liked these guys then, but now they kind of suck. I mean,
see, I felt that way then, but I think if I go back now, I probably would like it, but I never have time to go back to those records, like Hold Your Fire and
right. Well, it's hard, there's so much stuff to listen, there's so much stuff to listen to all the time,
It's a lot.
So.
How many drum kits do you have? I'm sure it's not like guitars where you have a wall of them.
Be surprised. Believe it or not, I still have the same drum set that I recorded I used for Scratch and Scream.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I have that. I got, I don't know, we got probably like 4 or 5 old ones, I do have my dad's old drum set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I use, I'm endorsed by Sonar out of Germany. So that's my primary kit that I use right now. So
that's cool.
Too many drums, too much, actually. Too much stuff. I got to get rid of some of this stuff at some point in time.
I did this interview with this producer in Seattle years ago, and he had somehow acquired Phil Rudd's Back in Black snare drum. And he just kept sending me pictures of it, and we just kept going, wow, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. I can see why.
Yeah, exactly right. Of course you can see why. We were just like, wow, flip it over. Wait, let me see the bottom. Let me see the all right. How tight? Yeah.
I think I saw online on eBay one time they had for sale Tommy Lee's snare drum from Theater of Pain.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like freaking this, like this deep.
Yeah.
Like 14 by freaking 12 or whatever.
I love their first album because he's like cowbell on every song, and they're like, no, take it easy. Yeah. So
yeah. I think I don't know what it sold for, but I'm sure it was a couple bucks.
Oh, I'm sure somebody made some money on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was great. I really appreciate you taking the time to do a drum geek out with us. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate your time too. We
love all eras of trauma. We really do. Yeah.
Hey, I got an idea for you. We interviewed this one band. It was Inhuman Condition. They had a snare drum that the head had broke. So they did this fan contest, and it was like whoever contributed so much to their Kickstart got the broken snare drum.
Well, hey, you got to do something,
Yeah.
Really.
That's not a bad
souvenir.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool. All right,
we will see you in April
in Baltimore. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, great. Look forward to it.
Falling on deaf ears.
you want to jump in a little bit? Okay.
All right. It is Deaf Ears time. This is Deaf Ears number 1. I was unaware of this band. I was completely won over. They are Chalkwife.
Yeah.
Now this is a one-person venture, which is amazing to me that this is one person. But
from Porto Alegre in Brazil. No, from Porto Alegre in Brazil. Yeah. Chalkwife is Young Toyama. The name is Young Toyama. Okay.
Oh.
And very prolific artist in a short time span. 3 demos and a full length in the space of 12 months.
There's definitely a cinematic quality to these shoegazy songs.
Very shoegazy, yeah.
Everything's fuzzy, from the vocals to the guitars.
There's some dark piano exercises in there. There's drowsy, clean guitar, some spoken word drifts, and a lot of wall of sound guitar. Like think about like some of the stuff from Pink Floyd's The Wall. Some of the what's that song? The Worms Ate Into His Brain. What's that song? In the Flesh. Is that it? Anyway, a lot of that vibe. Very, very dark and psychedelic. Ticking drum programming that works its way into like sort of a post-hardcore kind of speed. There's some speedy parts.
Yeah,
very
there's
cool.
some parts where it's like, wow, is this erupting? And
yeah, I mean, if you could appreciate like black metal and My Bloody Valentine, this should be right up your alley. So
it's a super interesting blend.
It is,
and I love me some blends.
Yes. So you want to introduce the song?
Let's play a song. This is from the title track from the brand new single, Dos Rosas Florentes, which translates into 2 flowering roses.
All right, Chocolate. Okay, Deaf Ears 2. Italy.
I really like these guys.
Another band, Wise Beyond Its Years. They're Italian. Italy only just came together in 2020, which is probably the worst fucking time that you could have gotten together because there was a global pandemic right then.
Maybe that's why they got together.
But judging from the songwriting and the performances are just balls out on this album, Emosphere, which has no emo whatsoever, I want to point out. You can just tell that they've just been honing their talents for years. The songwriting is succinct, smart, stadium-ready choruses.
Powerhouse vocals. This is the second Italian.
What's her name? Georgia Calalori. I'm going to get it wrong, but yeah. Anyway, let's say Georgia. The band has the coolest name for a guitar player.
Oh my!
The guitar player's name is Raffaello Indri. I mean, just so Italian. You want a zucchini, you get a zucchini.
My name is Raffaello Indridi. Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. Yeah. His website says that his website says world class guitar player.
And he is
world class name. Yeah. Anyway, this is really good stuff. Kind of like a resting pop metal sprinkled with sleaze rock pixie dust sort of thing. The first song, Breath of Fire, is that Guns N' Roses kind of low slung riff. So great. You know, her voice is just fucking amazing.
I love the vocals and I love all the hooks they throw in here.
Yeah. Beyond Revenge is like the greatest Hailstorm song that Hailstorm didn't write, you know. I love it. I love when it goes clean, the guitar goes clean, so you can, and then the focus is on her vocals. Incredible, right? But I tell you what, I have to admit, with all the hard chargers, the one that got me is this poppy little ballady nugget called Siren. It is the 1, 2. Oh my God, it's so great. All right, so we're gonna play that song for you now. This is Italy with Siren.
All right, so that leads us to those of you playing along at home, Deaf Ears 3. This is Black Rain. Apparently, the back parking lot of the Rainbow Bar and Grill is not the only place to encounter degenerates from Planet Leatherpants.
I've been to the parking lot in the back of the Rainbow Bar and Grill. I just want to say that. And when I did, I like touched the building. I was like, I'm here. Anyway, yeah.
But
they're from France.
Yeah,
maybe France. They mustn't have the cone heads.
No. They're from a small town in France, and they've been collectively pounding away with glitter and grit, closing in on 2 decades. So this is not a new one.
I had never heard of them, I have to admit. And I went to Jens Kemgren and said, have you fucking heard this band? And he was like, I love the debut. And I was like, okay, Cryptic. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Cryptic. Yeah. So I was late to the party, but the new album is called Untamed. And it blazes from the depths of hell. It's incredible. The choruses are great. The riffs are scalpel sharp. Twin guitars, you know how we are about twin guitars.
Lots of
here.
harmonies.
Yeah. The production is immaculate by a German production savant, Johannes Braun from Kiss and Dynamite. It's 54 minutes of nonstop heavy hair rush.
Usually, 2 guitars kind of make itself evident when a guitar solo rolls around, but hats off to this 4-piece for finding all kinds of riff splitting and splicing, hard panning, and string shredding.
Yeah, it's not just the harmonies. They mess with the riffs. One will take part of a riff and then the other will improve on it, and there's so much ebb and flow between 2 guitars. I've never really heard anything like it.
The title track is a prime example of Max and Swan's 1 + 1 = 3 guitar structures. That's how they do their math.
That's how I would just. And I like Neon Drift. It's heavy, like Accept heavy. It's so heavy. But then there's these bubbling, clear melodies, and the choruses are just these great shout-along things. They just fit the song so well.
And his voice is so.
Yeah.
He's in the higher ranges like the whole time.
I mean, this is the type of record, I'm telling you, if it had been released back in like 1989, it would have been 2 million copies sold, and it would have been stadium tours booked. I mean, these guys are the real deal. I mean, stop wearing out the second Skid Row album and try something new. Black Rain from France. They are from France. Let's play a song. This is Neon Drift. Well. I'm getting sad. It would appear that we're done.
Oh, we covered a lot of ground. We covered giving out Christmas presents late and weird things about states and snowballs and Natty Boh and marshmallow in your snowballs.
Yeah. And we talked about how Trevor is probably not any older than 30.
We talked about the great band Trauma and their latest offerings, and our hope to see them at the Baltimore Soundstage, April 11th.
We talked about the evil of Pete Way and how he made everyone wear strange spandex for decades. Actually, this is interesting. Go back and look at the real early pictures of Slayer when they first got together. It was all targets and spandex and stripes and the Chinese flag and all this stuff. They had the Pete Way look too.
Wow.
And then somebody heard Venom, and all of a sudden it was like, there was no going back. It was upside down crosses and blood and venom and everything else. Yeah. So this has been the Snaggletooth Rock'n'Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Kris Gustafson for appearing on the show and the Van Halen Geek Out. Deaf Ears theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs and Ask Yems notoriety. Jens, put the ketchup down. Sounds of Decay theme courtesy of Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Deaf Ears bands, check them out. Chalkwife, Black Rain, It's Ali. All content 2023. The Snaggletooth Rock'n'Roll Podcast. Oh.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock'n'Roll Podcast.
Buildings crashing down to